The stillness of the Bering Sea ice, broken up by commercial crabbers hard at work.
We're about 4 miles west of the Cape Nome, and what we got here is an opening for one of our crab pots. We're currently set about 30 feet.
It's a part-time job for Greg Mendez, one that makes good money.
The market beginning of the year was, I believe, $7.25, and about this time of the year it drops down to about $6 per pound. If you got a lot of crab, that's really good.
Greg has 7 crab pots around the Norton Sound.
They move around, just kind of gotta move your pots with them. Actually, we do got an order for 4 crab today.
During the Iditarod, he sees a demand from people in Nome wanting fresh-caught crab, and he's happy to provide.
This is a good sized crab. Has barnacles on it, but it's still a good eatable, sellable crab. This here's probably about a 3-pounder.
Most of the commercial crab, like Greg's, ends up at the Norton Sound Seafood Center.
Here's a Norton Sound Red King crab. We're seeing deliveries anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 pounds a day from fishermen, which is pretty impressive.
The crab is sold live, which means a higher price and a better payday for fishermen.
It's a very good fishery, especially at this time of year for residents out in rural western Alaska. It's often a lot harder to make an income in the winter. There's less going on, so this winter fishery has really been a big help for fishermen.
A majority of the king crab is caught in the summer, but over the past few years, the winter fishery has brought in up to 100,000 pounds. Most get shipped out overseas.
I will steam them up, have some melted butter.
But people visiting Nome for the Iditarod finish can get it fresh from the sea. For the Zirkle family, king crab is a must-have for their mushers.
Put it out on newspaper after it's cooked and just sit there with bread and salad and crab and melted butter and eat it until we can't eat anymore.
The pot alone's probably about 50 pounds.
Back on the ice, Greg comes away with 4 crabs out of the pots he checked.
Pretty nice. Average weight around what we catch out of our pots here. We don't have extremely big holes, but be some good dinner.
He enjoys the work and is glad to help fulfill visitors' craving for crab. In Nome, Heather Hintze, KTVA 11 News.
Come on, make some noise, let's hear you. 25 cents minimum, 50 cents maximum.
Step right up. Good luck on your quarters. And place your bet.
White.
It's gambling for a good cause.
So all the money that you lose here, you don't really lose, you just donate it.
But this isn't your average game of roulette.
Come on, cute little rat. Here, 1, 2, 3.
The Palmer Elks Rat Race at the Alaska State Fair is actually older than the state itself.
I love this time. The fair is always fun, but this is a tradition. I mean, we're talking 4 generations come to this rat race.
4 for you. For almost 60 years,
fantastic.
Carnival goers have laid down their quarters with faith the furry critter will return their winnings. Despite what its alliterative title suggests, the rat race actually uses gerbils because real rats can jump off the wheel and make a break for it. While some people have called the game cruel, these little guys actually have the easiest gig at the fair.
Realistically, these gerbils will work about 20 minutes every 2 days for 10 days, and then the rest of the year they eat and sleep and relax. We give them little special treats.
Behind the scenes, there's a whole team of reinforcements waiting to take a spin.
When you walk up here and you see this, you're thinking, wow, that's pretty cruel. But if you think about the average gerbil that's sold in a pet store, it winds up in a little plastic ball and the kids are chasing it and kicking it downstairs, and dogs and cats, so it's a pretty good life, actually.
3, 2, 1.
Once it's their turn to take center stage, many of the gerbils don't want to give up the spotlight. Their indecision keeps gamblers guessing whether they'll come out on top.
You have to get the screen more. No.
At the end of the day, the Elks Club volunteers cash in and the gerbils go back to their cage, where it's a sure bet they'll get some much-needed peace and quiet after a hard day in the rat race. Heather Hintze, KTVA 11 News.
Come right here. Look at, there's big ones right here.
The tundra outside Unalakleet stretches for miles, blanketed in blue.
There's just berries everywhere this year. They're so abundant this year. I think they're big. Look at this blueberry right here. That is a big blueberry.
Davita Hansen and her family head for the hills near the village to fill their buckets.
You know, to bring the kids out here and teach them how to, you know, live off of the land and pick berries and just have a great time. To me, it's awesome.
The low bush fruit can be hard to find at first.
One time my mom came down from Barrow and She grew up here, and she said, I don't see the berries. I said, Mom, you just need to get your blueberry eyes on because they're everywhere.
Come pick berries with me, Shami.
Berry picking is a way of life Davida and her sister Francine Johnson have always known.
This little berry bucket was mine when I was a child. But, you know, you pass it down and teach them the importance of what goes in it.
The sisters grew up picking berries with their grandparents. Their grandmother would take them out with a 5-gallon bucket, and no one went home until it was full.
And she'd say, okay, let's eat, and, you know, sit on the tundra and take a break and have our dried fish and seal oil, and then continue picking till we were full buckets.
For Francine, the time on the tundra was about learning how to be self-sufficient.
He just leave it there, and here I'd be picking, and I'd be wondering, okay, what if a bear comes? What if a moose comes? So I'd kind of plan it out, what I'm going to do to take care of my great-grandmother who didn't walk very well anymore, you know, because she was very old. So it's part of trying to learn how to take care of each other, and that's what they taught me.
With an endless harvest, it doesn't take long for the buckets to fill up.
My grandmother used to say I was a very fast picker, but my husband says I'm a dirty picker.
Dirty picker.
And this, I don't take the leaves out.
The fruitful outing will keep their freezers full until the berries come back around next year. In Unalakleet, Heather Hintze, KTVA 11 News.
Wow, look at how beautiful.
It's the little things in life you don't miss until they're gone. For Donna Erickson, it was spending time with her husband, living their subsistence way of life.
It was really, really sad to not be able to cut fish and do things that you love to do and not fill your freezer for the winter.
Because cutting fish for hours was too much for a mother past the brink of exhaustion.
Logan, look at Mom. Bye. You're busy.
The Ericksons' youngest son, Logan, was diagnosed with severe autism when he was 2. At 16, he doesn't talk and still wears diapers. Now he spends most of his time in the comfort of his room, but it wasn't always like this.
In a matter of a few seconds, if you turned away and kept him out of your eyesight, he would just disappear. We had to someone always had to keep an eye on him.
That's because his home is surrounded by water. Ocean on one side, the river on the other, and that's where Logan liked to go. When he bolted, the entire village of Unalakleet would get their 4-wheelers, even their planes, and search the coast for him. There were close calls more than once.
And he ran out onto the ice and fell into the ocean. And luckily for him, there were some boys playing football on the beach, and they immediately ran out, and one of them dived under and pulled him up. I mean, it was very terrifying.
Oh, my tummy.
A yellow lab named Juke changed all that. He's a service dog, also trained for search and rescue missions to find Logan. Donna had spent years with little sleep, fighting to stay awake to keep her son safe. But that became Juke's job.
Having Juke come into his life really took away a lot of that storm going around him. Are you happy?
He became Logan's classmate in school. For the first time, the family could go on a vacation, and Logan could finally sleep.
Best friend. Logan and his favorite blanket and his best friend. They were inseparable. There's got to be hundreds of pictures of them like this.
But even the best of friends can be torn apart. A little more than a year ago, Juke was diagnosed with hip dysplasia. He needed surgery and weeks of recovery time. Juke couldn't jump on the bed the way he used to, and Logan pushed him away.
It's been kind of difficult for Juke because his whole life was taking care of Logan, and he would look at me with the saddest eyes and lay in the doorway of Logan's room and look longingly and wanting Logan to love him again. He's been such a good friend.
There was never any shortage of love from the rest of the family, especially from their close friend, Iditarod musher Didi Genre. She played an instrumental role in bringing Juke to the village in the first place.
How could you not love this?
Now she's here to take him home with her.
The only thing is I don't want him to be sad.
What a relief. He did so much for us, and he worked so hard.
Juke's health problems mean the son has set on his time as a service dog.
Logan, Juke's gonna go on an airplane.
The day Donna's been dreading is here.
I'm gonna say goodbye to Juke. He's gonna leave you. He's gonna go live with Dee Dee.
She fights back tears as long as she can. Donna doesn't want to see Juke go, but she knows it's for the best.
Never thought a dog could make such a difference.
Juke's final moments in Unalakleet.
Your last walk down these stairs, Juke.
The end of a major chapter in the Ericksons' lives.
Come on, sweetie pie.
His last time at their home.
Good boy.
One more ride in the car.
As we started out together getting Juke, and now we're ending together the Juke story with Logan.
It's okay. Bye.
An ending to one story,
Bye, Juke.
but the beginning of a new one.
Bye, Juke. Good boy. Such a good boy. Such a good boy. Thank you.
Juke will live out his golden years with Dee Dee and Willow.
Good boy.
But Donna will never forget how he changed her family, how he saved them, the little things he did to make their lives brighter in the dark storm of autism.